Hello and thanks for purchasing the Gun Pack Asset Pack. This is a tutorial, so welcome. I am Armand from Evil Planet Studios and Nevermore Graphics, and today we are going to be taking a look at this asset pack and how it works and how you can get the most out of it. It is important to punctualize that this asset pack does not include the blueprints. They come in the pack, but they are not part of it. They are just for showing purposes, just so you can take a look at this. And another thing is that this pack is not true. It's not true FPS, so you cannot see the feet. It's just the arms. With that out of the way, let's get to it. So, everything in this pack, in this asset pack, is conveniently colored, and each color is corresponding to, well, this little ribbon that comes underneath the icon. So each, like if you are used to the Unreal Engine UI, at least since 4.27, which is the first one that I made this one in. So yeah, everything is going to be color coded, and I try to not use color coding that is similar. So for example, here in particles, you'll notice that the color coding of this folder is corresponding to the Niagara emitter rather than the Niagara systems, which are the ones that hold the effects, except the textures are red too. So yeah, that's the reason. So what are the folders? So let's first explore the folders. So we have this overview map in the maps folder. So that's the overview map. There is an animation preview map with every single animation in this asset pack. We're going to be spending most of our time here in overview map. So yes. Next, there is animations. So they are divided in two groups. There is arm animations and there is gun animations. As you can see, gun animations do not have that many animations. As you can see, it's just these two for the minigun, for example, and the pistol has even has less. Well, not less than the minigun, but yeah, it's very few of them because most of the gun animations, like for example, the spinning of the barrels, those are made inside the blueprint. So yes, gun animations, excuse me, arm animations. Now these are a little bit more of them. Okay, there's that's the animations. This is the materials. We're going to be looking at these in a little bit more in depth, in just a little bit, but just know that there is a materials folder, obviously with the master materials, so we don't have to iterate every single little thing. So some materials, some of the materials of some of the guns, some of the objects, they share properties, so that's why we have master materials. There is materials for the particles, because yes, this asset pack does include visual effects. There is the sample level, which you're looking at it, and obviously each weapon has their own folder and each one has their own set of materials. So there is several different skins per gun. There's also the meshes, most of the guns, actually all of the guns, have only one mesh per gun, except for where is it? Except for the shotgun, which comes in two different versions. The one that is animated, however, the one that is animated and programmed into this asset pack is this one, because he's holding it like a pistol, okay? So there's also this one, but if he holds it like a pistol, it unfortunately actually gets into his what do you call it, forearm. So yes, you'd need to you could adjust the animations for the minigun plasma gun. Oops, that's the wrong one. Okay, RPG or plasma gun. You could actually blend those between. So yeah, just so you know, there's options, or you could animate your own. But yeah, I just put it there just so the option exists, and you can still hold this one as a pistol, as this one. So the actually the original animation has some space for the gun butt, but you know, I just wanted to give you as many options as possible so you can do whatever you want with this asset pack. Okay. So, like we established, there is also, it's very important to know, let's use this one. Okay, so there is that one and that one. Okay, there's a very important distinction between between the low poly and the high poly version. The high poly version is just specifically, very specifically designed for as a hero prop. So it's designed for you to shoot, right? It's going to be against the screen. You're going to be looking at it the whole time. So it's naturally more heavy on the polygons. The pivot point is going to be right where the hand joins with the gun, usually. And yes, it's way more polygon heavy. This one, however, does not need to be polygon heavy because you're going to be looking at it from afar. It's a gun pickup. The normals on the texture are baked specifically to this lower poly version, so I did not trust what Unreal Engine was offering me for the decimation of polygons, the collapse of the triangles. I decided to make my own as optimized as possible, so it looks as good as possible. And as it stands, you can't really tell the difference, can you? Because this one, the low poly version, is actually in fact 10 20 1024 pixels for each one of those amazing textures. Okay, so let's move on. Pistol, yes, each one of these has different ammo pickups, so you can see them right here. Okay, all right, there's meshes. There's the sound effects. There are sound effects for each one of the guns. So there's a bunch of not all of them are used in this game. It's just so you have the option to add them. Excuse me, not game. This asset pack, just so you have the option to add them if you wanted to. So they even have uh, stereo effects. So if this translates well, you can hear it left and right as he is waddling with this incredibly heavy piece of machinery in his hands. There are several. Some of these have several sound effects, especially the ones that you for the shooting, especially the ones that you hear one after the other, way too close together, just so they don't look. Yeah, so so they just don't look don't sound repetitive. There's obviously cues for each one of those. Like I said, not all of them are used there, and you can actually get creative, and maybe the plasma gun is similar in weight and heft and amount of metal to the minigun, so you know you can steal some, not those, but yeah, you can steal them from there. Okay, you have cocking sounds, everything that needs to be used there. All right. So there's textures, and we'll go over those a little bit later. So just know that most of them are 4K. Most of these are 4K, ready to be used. They are massive, so you can actually take them down a notch to maybe 2048. That still works depending on your case use. So I try to give you as many options as possible. There is graphics for some of the guns, not all of them, but some versions of the guns rather. Not even not even all of the versions. Just some of the versions have graphics. Although you can actually mix and match and modify these files to suit your actual needs. One thing that you should know is that the particles are massive. There are 1024, and that doesn't sound like too big, but you are looking at them in the visual effects for a couple of seconds, even if, I mean, it's insane. It's like a fraction of a second right there on the screen. Plus, they are tiny. They are small relative to the gun. So you might as well take them down to 512 or 256. You know, you do your math and you do your tests and see what suits you. All right. So like I said, each weapon has had several versions. Blah blah blah. You can actually mix. They are relatively um, they are relatively compatible with one another, except unless let's take these ones as a case use. So there's two versions here, two different normals rather. So we have this one on top, the metallic one, right? Which has a little holes in here. It has different, it's more, a little bit more military, right? And then there is that one, which is a little bit more tactical. Or rather, this one is more military. This one is a little bit more old-timey, I guess, in this universe. It just looks a little bit older than that one, that version. So again, you can, these are very detailed textures, so you can actually take them down a notch in terms of, yeah. Now, the visual effects. So let's take a look. There is minigun, pistol, plasma rifle, revolver, RPG, and there is a bunch of shared ones such as smoke or smoking guns or bullet trails. And then there's the shotgun. The pedestal comes with a very modest effect, just so it looks cool, but this isn't really part of the this isn't really part of this asset pack. It's just there for show. Like I said, a lot of the blueprints are just there for show, just so you have an idea of how it'll look once you implement it. Or you can test things before you actually put it in your game. But if you want to use as is, you are very welcome to. Then there is obviously the blueprint, and very obviously the demo content that I used to demonstrate, like this hand that we're looking at. All right. So let's get into how do you edit this thing? How do you customize this stuff? So let's start with the guns, which are going to be three different guns, but you'll see that it's a little bit more than that. Let's call it 3.5 because let's open the pistol. Yeah, skeletal mesh. Let's throw it over there, and let's test each one by one. So there's, first of all, we started on. I added only the futuristic ones for this. For you to look at while you shoot, but you can actually change the V1. You can change the actual guns right there. So okay, so how do you edit them? So let's look at that. Okay, so what options do you have with this gun? Okay, so you have weapon color. Not all of them have weapon color, but some of them do. And this is one of them because maybe you didn't want to have your gun in silver, you wanted golden. So there you go. There's no rust on this one. Some of the other guns do have rust, so changing the color to gold, as we all know, gun does not rust, but it does tarnish. So it is thoroughly tarnished, but it's not actually rusted. There's a weapon mat, which is what we use to separate these areas that do not get so they don't get coloration, because obviously if you change the gun to red, you don't want the handle to change to red. There is burn sun anodization, which is very, very faint right there, but you can actually make it strong. And this happens to metal actually when you expose it to heat. It usually tarnishes and changes color. I put the default value in 1, but I actually like to have it at 0.5. For this one, for this version, it does not have any LED colors, or obviously this one is an option only available for the minigun. So, and also the graphics are not for this version either. So let's move on to the version 2, which, as you can see, it has LEDs, really cool LEDs. So let's look at it and see what options do we have in this one. So first of all, you'll notice that the weapon color is not there. Why? Because this gun is gunmetal, and when you colorize it, it just doesn't translate very well. You can, of course, actually steal the weapon matte from the other one and change the color. It just won't look that good, I promise you. There's no burn sun anodization because that's kind of pointless because you can't see anything there. And the height ratio, it refers to this little things. Alright, so 0.015 seems to do the trick, but obviously you can mess with the values and see what looks better to you and your game. Alright, so let's move on. This one does not have graphics either. V3. That's V3. And you'll notice this one does not have any LEDs, but it has other things. And by the way, this one shares, I think, no, it does not. It can be interchanged with the version 2, which is gunmetal. So yeah, you can play around and see what works best for you. Again, these are not as modular with the texture as I would have liked to have made them, but they are still really good. Okay, so here we have weapon color. We can have the gun in any color you want. Does not have any weapon graphics. At least the pistol doesn't. But we'll get to the ones that do have. And by the way, version 2, I forgot to showcase those. Version 2, you can change the color of the LEDs. Red is my favorite color, so that's why I put it there, but you can actually make it blue. Okay. In addition to the guns, you also have different options for the ammo. There's no options here because it's mostly just version 1 and version 2. So you can pick whichever looks best to you, or download it out of here by you have to go to the textures, weapons, pistol, there's the ammo. You you can just asset actions, export, and you can export to TGA. Okay, so let's move on to another part of this thing, which is the cartridge. Alright, so you have the normal ones and obviously the spent cartridge, which I named spent brass accordingly. Let's not show the grid so you can take a look at this. And it's not the case for all of them, but some versions come with their own bullet, or rather cartridge. So this one just has the shiny and new from the tactical one, and there's the tarnished old one from the old-timey one. Alright, so next we're going to move on to the revolver, which is one of the most complex ones in this asset pack. And let us convert it to the version 1. Let's open it, and right off the bat you can see there are no options for the color like with the pistol. You can actually, not here, but you can actually use the metal the metal layer for the for the color, for the weapon color, as a matte. I mean, in fact, we can actually. It's not a great idea, but if you're in a pinch, you can in fact do that. Right there. Okay. So there's your golden gun. All right. Obviously, it's not advised. It's not such a great idea, but I mean, if it looks good, it looks good. All right. There is version 2. Which again does not have too many options. Actually, let's move it here, just so you can look at it better. Now, version A comes with two different versions. So version 3A is this beautiful filigree decorating the revolver. Okay, and there is version 3B, again with this beautiful filigree with golden accents. And again with 3A, unfortunately there is no actual color, because there is no weapon matte, but you can actually use the metal to turn it gold, or even a copper gun, which I have no idea why you would have a copper gun. Just looks like a very bad idea. Anywho, let's move on to the version 4, which is very, very, very similar to the version 2. Okay, so it's version 2's beaten cousin. It's completely rusted to hell. It's super old. Looks very Western, Old West type gun. Again, this one does not have too many options, and I would not recommend to change the weapon color, because absolutely not. But you can move on to weapon 5, revolver 5, which does have a ton of options, which we're going to be looking at right now. So right off the bat, you can see there is a weapon mat. And it's the only gun I think that has such a complex weapon mat. You can change the color to whatever you like. Okay. And you can change the LED colors to whatever you like. The revolver does not have burns and anodization, although you are free to add your own. You can get rid of the graphics or add them, whatever you like. And obviously the height ratio takes care of those little cool protrusions out of the gun. Alright. I think that's it for this one, is it? Alright, let's move on to the next weapon, which is the shotgun. As I said, it comes in... Oh, wait, no. We forgot to take care of the... ammo comes in two different varieties. One where you can actually look at the little bullets, and you'll see why they're glowing in just a little bit. And there is one with a closed lid. So let's first take a look at the brass of the guns. Let us not use the... I always forget where the grid is. I'm also super tired. I haven't slept. It's been a very, very long week. Alright, so like I said with the pistol, each one of these guns have their own bullets. Not all of them have like radically different bullets, but check this out. That's from Revolver 1, right? Revolver 2 is lead. It's not copper. It's not Full Metal Jacket. I think number 3 and 3B, 3A and 3B are the same. Number 4 is a little bit tarnished. Number 5 is the money shot, because check it out. The little bullet it's futuristic. I don't know why your bullet would light up. Maybe so you know the bullet is on. Oh my god, I hate this. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Right. So you can change the color of the bullet to whatever you like. Excuse me, the LED of the bullet. And the weapon color does not work for the little bullet, so just that. Okay, now let's just use this one because basically it's the same texture really. So let's just... Okay, can you see? Very well. So this one's again do not have much to change, so I'm not even gonna bother showing you those, but check it out. They come in different colors. and the blue ones are the futuristic ones. All right. Okay, so now we can move on to the shotguns, which again, we have two versions. We're just going to be looking at the no stock version because reasons. And we have how many versions of this one? We have 4 versions. Remember that these textures and materials, there's also a version for the low poly pickup, so they come doubled, and they are not interchangeable. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could use the shotgun shell on the other one, but it's really not worth it. Okay. So we're starting with at the. Let's start backwards from here, because this one, and as you can see, we can already see the shotgun shells are different in this one, can't we? Let's take that. Take a look. All right, as you can see, this wonderful, amazing shotgun has weapon graphics, which you can get rid of if you think they look too tacky. Alright, so there is weapon graphics. You can change the LED color to whatever you like, even white. And if you want to make them glow, by the way, a parenthesis, if you want to really make them glow even more, you can just change the color here. But if you have a bloom or some other screen effect that works, that feeds off emission strength, you may want to tone it down because it may overwhelm the sensor. Well, quote unquote sensor, you know what I mean. You can change the color of the gun, as with the other ones. This one kind of looks like a firefighter's gun. LED, where you have the weapon mat. You do not have burn anodization for this one, unfortunately. And there is no height ratio or anything like that for this one. It's a relatively simple gun. Oh my god, I messed up. Okay, so from there let's go to 5, which is the classic black gunmetal. Plastic grip. From there we have 4. Am I using the... Okay, that's the correct one. Right? There is the silver one, and there is a rusted to hell version, in case you want your gun to be old. Alright. That's version 2. These ones, by the way, I'm not even bothering with the options because there are none. And version 1, which is the same one except a whole lot more beaten. Scratched, all beaten. Okay. So those are your options for the shotgun, but what are your options for the ammo? And just let me tell you that let's open this one. Let me just tell you that this one is kind of like the same, so it's using the exact same little UVs, so we're gonna take a look at that one, but not before we look at this. So that's the futuristic one. Again, we go back to front. So no options with these ones, I think. Yeah, you don't have options to change the color of the shell. Oops. Okay, 4. It's red. Version 3. It's red but tarnished and old. Version 2. Back to new again. And version 1. Once again, old and tarnished. You can pick whichever works for you. In the meantime, let's look at the ammo. So the ammo crates, there's only 2 for this one. There's blue and red. Slightly different design. Not too much. Not too much really. Actually, let's undo all those changes that we've done. Okay. I'll just close these folders because they bother me. Okay, so we already took care of the shotgun. Let's go with the minigun. Let's open the minigun, and right off the bat we see it has 2 materials because the barrels glow, and if I made them with the same material it would be a little bit annoying to use. So with that out of the way, which one are we using? Version 3. There's only 3 versions, so we're going to go back to front. But first, again, bear in mind that this gun has 2 different materials, so you're gonna have to come right here and copy. So yeah, you can have a Barbie machine gun, but again, you need to open this one too, drag it down here, and you want to copy and paste. It is very important for you to take care of that. Okay, so with that out of the way, you can change the color of the little LEDs. We can actually copy that and paste that. So the tip of the barrel actually looks fine. That's the barrel glow, because this is the barrel one and needs to be turned on. Okay. This one does have anodization, but not this version, and I'll show you just in a little bit what can we have here. And you can, again, wrong material, you can get rid of the weapon graphics in case they look too tacky for you, which I would totally understand. Okay, let's just keep it real, right? So let's start. This is the body. right? So let's take the body. So body V2 and the barrels V2. Remember, there's two of them. Now this one does not have options um, for the color because, like I said with the other one, it's gunmetal, and gunmetal looks super weird. But that said, it shares the normals and it shares some other things with the other one. So if you really want, you can actually copy the weapon mat from the other one, from the version 3, and use it here. It just won't look that good. All colors will look all washed out and dark. So again, you can change the color, and you have to copy it to the barrels, otherwise it won't show. You have weapon graphics as well, and that's it for this one. So let's change it to body, this one, and barrels, V1 barrels. Okay. So this one is silver. It's different normals, different type of construction, allegedly. Actually, I'm going to have to open the barrels here as well. Alright, so first let's look at the body. So this one, the setting for color is back, just so you can have golden. Actually, it's the wrong mat. You should use the metal. So yeah. That one kind of looks like brass. Anywho, yeah. So what else do we have here? I think you have height ratio. Yeah, you do. So you have height ratio. But the coolest part of this one is here in the barrels, and we have the option for burns and anodization, which you can actually make it fairly strong. Burns anodization. Look amazing. I love how this type of stuff looks, because it gives it so much realism. Okay, let's move on. Which one did it have? Number 3? And V3 barrels. Alright, let's just move on. So this one also has its own bullet. There you go. And the bullets, you can either use barrels or body. I would recommend body because it has less settings, because the barrels have that reddish black body radiation. So V1, V2 looks newish, V3 same as V2. Alright, let's leave it new. There is this one, and it has two different this one does not have any settings you can mess with. Oh, actually it does. You can get rid of the graphics if you don't like them. By the way, I just didn't want to get anyone in copyright trouble. In case Barrett 50 cal is some kind of brand or something like that. I don't know much about weapons, so I just decided to call it Bartlett. And you have two different versions for the ammo. So there's this one, perfectly normal, a little bit beat up, but there's this one that is massively rusted. All right. So let's move on to this one's, which, by the way, the plasma gun and RPG, they both share models. So they both share models, but for simplicity's sake, here in the engine, I decided to give them different meshes, but it's the same model, so same mesh really. I just duplicated it. There's no functional difference. So let's just take the plasma gun just because it's there first, and we can test all the materials on them. So let's start with V1. Now, this one has next to no really options, and I forgot to take off the burns anodization. So this one does not have burns nor anodization, and it has rust, so it can't be gold. So I didn't give it that option. However, there is an A version, so 1A, and this one can be color changed. So we can make it golden or brassy. Actually, it should be more around this type of color, and gold would be right about there, I think. Yeah, that would be goldish. And what you can also do is make it copper. Now, what you can also do here is pretty much that's it. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. So let's move on to version 2, which is still, as you can see, it's still sharing that normal map. So you can do many things with it. You can combine stuff from different versions here. Right. So this one does not have weapon color, and as far as I know, you cannot use the weapon mat, because the one that with a weapon mat is actually a different structure, or different skin rather. But you can change the 3 LEDs on there on the side. I know it's not much, but it's something. Next we have the number 3, which, by the way, is almost the same as the number 4, except number 3 you can actually change the weapon color. You can change the weapon color in both, I forgot that. But this is the reason why I didn't add to the revolver or the gun. It just looks dark. It looks weird and anodized and just gross. So I added it to this one as a test and decided to leave it because obviously, I mean, someone might want it, but I decided to not add it to the other ones just because it doesn't look that good. There we go. You can change the colors of the LEDs. You can get rid of the weapon graphics and obviously mess with the height ratio. There's no burns or anodization, so don't worry about that. And this one, oh my god. Okay, let's move it there. So this one, again, you can mess with the colors of the LED, but the star here is the color. And look at how bright and beautiful it just looks. It looks fantastic. You can actually make it some military hardware depending on what your case use. Again, you can get rid of the graphics if you don't want them and mess with the height ratio. That's it. That's all you can do with this one. You can obviously take the textures, like for example download this one and edit the number and the little stripes, or delete some, add more. You know, you can do whatever you want. So let's move on with the ammo for this one, and for this one it's kind of interesting. So there's just one version for the ammo for this one, I think. I hate it when it makes the window so small. Okay, yeah, so there is just one version. The off version is just this off without any LED colors. Where is it? No emission. That's it, and it's mainly not for this ammo, but for this ammo, which we use in, which by the way, this is where you change its color, which we use for when the gun shoots. And let me just show you, because it makes no sense to explain this stuff. Okay, let me shoot just a little bit, and let's press R to reload. And as you can see, the expelled grenade, excuse me, not grenade, the expelled cartridge, the spent cartridge, does not glow. It just looks like that. Alright. Weapon color does not do anything here, so... Oh, actually it does do something. I had no idea. Does it do... Oh, yeah. It does something. I forgot. It's been a while since I made this one. So I was working on different projects. Right. So we don't want it red. It just looks clownish. But yeah, that's how you edit this one. And next we have this ones. This guy's... Aha. There is this one. So let's get this one out of the way, because there's two versions. There is painted metal, and there is metal. That's it. You don't have too many options there. And this one just has painted and metal. And if we actually manage to make it work, okay, there we go. This one does not work on the on this normal one, on this metallic one. It works on that one. Actually, it doesn't even work on that one. Well, that's sad. Yeah, but it does work there. All right. So it does work there. Works better for stuff like military kind of colors, for like from a military base or some weird militia from the future. Who knows? I don't know what you're going to use this for, but I hope it's something cool. Alright, so let's move on to there's a low poly, and that's it. That's all you can do with the colors for now. I do plan to be adding more weapons and more graphics and more variations for some of these weapons. So yeah, so let's move on to the VFX, which is the other cool part of this stuff, of this asset pack. So some of them, such as this one, they are not too easy to edit, and that's because they have way too many moving parts. So the way you're going to be changing these ones, because these ones are for example, the heat coming out of the barrels, it's a very large cartridge for the minigun. It's a caliber 50, right? So the the color is a little bit yellower, but it's not uniform. If you make it uniform, it just looks lazy and crappy. So yeah, you have here the flash, the different parts of the flash, and the way you can edit it is just see what each part does and how you want to modify it. Okay. By the way, the distortion does not look very convincing or at all here, but in game it I don't know why it makes it becomes a whole lot more visible. The minigun shell, empty shell, is as well as the pistols, the plasma rifles, RPGs. Actually, the RPG does not expel anything. The revolvers and the shotgun shells, they do come out in the form of Niagara systems. Moving on to the pistol, same dealio as with the minigun, just different type thing. Since the minigun has a lot of these bangs per second, the problem is that you were going to get blinded by smoke, and that would make the game unplayable. But if you like something from, by the way, if you like something from one and you wanted to put it on the other, just select it and copy. Just select and Control C, Control V, it'll paste it into the other one where you want that particular thing. And again, it's not uniform. There's some parts that are bluish, and you can actually see it. Where are we? They are folderized. Distortion, flash. Okay. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. So, yeah, you can see in the scale color, it starts like a flame, with some blue, and it just grows into yellow and then almost orange. So yeah, plasma rifle. Let's leave that one for. Actually, no. Let's take care of it. Some plasma leaves residue. It's almost invisible. It's very covert. You need special surfaces and decent illumination to look at it, but it adds that one little layer of realism. This one is kind of fun. So projectile, impact, muzzle flash. This one is kind of fun to actually edit, because first of all there's a ton of them. So you didn't have to change, because this one does not matter so much if all our colors are similar or the same. So here we have just two colors, and we can actually change it like that. Super fast, super practical. However, if you do not want something like, for example, this lightnings to be, let's say everything else is green plasma, but that one cannot be green, so what you do is come here to lightnings. Okay, so there's lightnings coming from the muzzle flash. There's lightning, residual lightning, so I actually named it that. So there's residual lightnings. Where are you? There you are. So you come here to scale color, and rather than use this one, which is the user color that makes it blue or green, whatever color you're using, you just come here and press this thing, and yeah, that's it. That's all you need. Now you have red lightnings, or whatever color you feel more comfortable with, or whatever color works for you in your project. Let's unsolo. And same applies for all of these. There is an impact and there is a projectile. Again, you come here to user parameters and change it. That's the flying projectile. Next we have the revolver. It's pretty simple, really. There is a regular muzzle flash, the bang bang, and there is the thing that comes out of the cylinder gap, which I saw in slow motion in that TV series. What is it? Mythbusters. Apparently it can blow off your finger. That's crazy. That's crazy talk right there. Okay, so here's the RPG. Remember that the RPG is the exact same model as the plasma gun. So where are we? There we are. Beautiful. Okay, so this one again, it's kind of the simpler thing. There's an explosion, which, by the way, if you need the explosion to take a little bit longer, we have some user parameters that we can mess with. Lifetime and gravity. There is some stuff for the exhaust and the muzzle flash. Again, this one does not have any user parameters that you can mess with. I guess the lifetime to make the deflagration a little bit longer, but if you do that, you would have to actually yeah, exactly, you would actually have to change the size of the of the elements, because when they last so long, if you make it, incidentally, if you make it shorter, see, it doesn't look that bad. Just only when you make it large. And again, you have rocket fire for your flying rocket. You also have shared ones like spark hit and smoking smoke. This one actually comes out of the back of the shotgun when you open it. You could actually also put it on the tip of the minigun after you finish shooting. But if you want to make it smoke like the whole barrel, I would recommend very, very, very faint this one or that one, either way. Finally, we have the shotgun. Same deal as the pistol and the revolver, and by all extents the RPG. Just simple stuff. Like I said, the blueprints are not included tacitly in this in this gun pack. However, I'm going to help you with a few things that you need to know that are very important. Like, how do you change the um, the mesh for each one of the guns? Well, you can come here. Where is it? Shotgun. You can come here, come to viewport, focus the gun for some reason. There it is. Okay, and you can, with the gun focused, you can just put gun stock and nothing happens because it needs to be changed somewhere else. So you need to come here to base weapon, double click it, construction script, and here where it says shotgun, it says no stock, and we want it with stock. There you go. You compile, save, and you can barely see it. Actually, I know how to do that. Okay, so let me see that, and oh, okay. So yeah, you can see. You can see there is the stock. So let's not have it with a stock because it just looks weird. Let's save it, and again here, no stock. A lot of parts are animated here in the blueprints, such as the little bolts. You can see some of the code right there. So there is a bunch of stuff relating to the bolts. Another important thing that that you should know, it's like to edit for example, the fire rate. You do that here for the minigun. You do that right here. Hold on. So you can change the fire rate right here. So let's do that now. Okay, so that was a little bit fast. So what I recommend is 1 to 2.5, maybe 0.05 if you really want like an uh, incredible fire rate. But yeah, it's just messes with your with your hardware. So yeah, that gets weird really fast. You also have other stuff like for the minigun, for like um, how bright the barrels glow. So the gradient can go from 0 to 1, which is fine. And if you want the barrels to really get in there and really glow and blind you, you can crank this up to, I don't know, 10, and it just gets super weird. All right, so let's just leave it at 1. You can control the speed of the barrel spinning right here, and the fade out. Not here. Here you've controlled the fade. How long they take to start up and spin down, spin up and spin down. Unfortunately, the problem with the spinning stuff, what happens is that if you change something there, it will no longer match the sound effects. So whatever you change, make sure you also change the sound effects. Otherwise, it's just not gonna match anymore. All right. After the minigun, we actually before we, if you click here, BP minigun, you also get a bunch of options, like the probability of your minigun spinning. Excuse me, spawning a a tracer, like those little trails that it leaves. Well, those are going to be spawned half of the times. And the reason is because if you put too many, it just looks ridiculous when there's a lot of them. So we decided to make it just a couple every shot. Here's your ammo info. So if how much ammo you want to your ammo bag to have, how much ammo you want your ammo clip to have, so on and so forth. And those are the types of things that you have here as well for the pistol. You also have push force. All guns have this. You have push force, which is how much it recoils, how much it pushes you back. The character, remember that minigun that just like just zoomed you across the room? Well, that's the push force. And with each each one of those shots, it will propel you back. So if you don't want it to propel you across the room, just make sure you leave it at a low value like that. Again, how much in each ammo clip, how much in max ammo clip, current ammo bag, so on and so forth. And you can also blend in and change some of the VFX, some of the animations, some of the sound effects. And that applies for most of the guns. spawn probability, the tracer spawn, the ammo, so on and so forth. Here's your code. So again, this is not included in the blueprints are not included in the ammo pack, excuse me, in the gun pack. So we are not going to be giving what do you call it? We're not going to be given support for those, for the blueprints. And finally, there's this one, the RPG. And exact same options as the other ones. You can obviously change the shoot, excuse me, the fire rates here. Just need to look for the node. And that's it. If you have any questions about the VFX, the textures, the meshes, the materials, please let me know, even the sound effects. And I will respond as soon as I can. You can either leave the comment here underneath in the YouTube video, or you can leave it at the page where you purchased this gun pack. Again, thank you very much for purchasing this pack. I appreciate that. I hope this pack sells relatively well, because the more people buy it, the more versions I am going to be uploading, just because I don't want you to have the same thing that everyone else has. So if there is like 3 people using it, I mean, there makes no sense to make more than 3 versions, because you can always make a different version. But if there is like 100 people using it, I would hate for them to all have the same exact looking gun, or the same graphics on the gun, or even the muzzle flashes, muzzle flares. So I'm going to be updating those with new versions if I see this thing selling a whole lot more. So in the meanwhile, thank you very much for your attention, for your time, and for purchasing this asset pack. Have a great day.